This is the corrected video for Kittel and Hoffer's lesson 30, focusing on the Hifil imperative. We can begin by looking at the Hifil imperative of strong roots. So the imperative in the masculine singular has this form, hafked. Notice here we have our he preformative. We have our patach. The vowel in the affix is a hirek, hifkid. Here we have imperative hafked with a patach. Here you have a E-class vowel, but instead of the infixed hirek yod we've seen in the affix form, hifkid, here you have a shortened form, hafked. Now in the feminine singular, then we have the same characteristics, he preformative. We have our patach. Here we now have an infixed hirek yod, and then here we have the feminine singular ending for the hifil, for the imperative. So hafkidi. Notice that whenever there is a vowel, an ending that begins in a vowel, we have the fully written hirek yod in between the second and third radicals. So hafked, masculine singular, hafkidi in the imperative feminine singular. Now the imperative masculine plural, you can work out from the previous two forms, will be hafkidu, and then here with the he preformative, the patach, and the infixed hirek yod, and then the familiar ending to the masculine plural imperative. Then the feminine plural, hafkedna, he preformative, patach, E-class vowel, and then our na ending, which you know from the kal imperative. Okay, so the hifil imperative, hafked. The hifil affix is hifkid. Here we have the he preformative, the E-class vowel. So notice the difference in the imperative hafked and the affix hifkid. This is the key difference between these two forms. Of course, there's also the difference between radicals 2 and 3 of the hirek yod in the affix hifkid and the zere in the imperative hafked. There's a second form of the imperative, which is called the emphatic imperative. So the standard form of the imperative in the hifil is hafked, as we've just seen. Now the emphatic form of the imperative looks like this, hafkida. This is emphatic. Now notice that we still have the he preformative with the patach vowel. But what's been added is this comet he at the end. This is what indicates the emphatic nature of this imperative. When we add an ending with a vowel, of course, it causes our zere to revert to a full hirek yod between radicals 2 and 3. So the imperative standard form hafked, in the emphatic form hafkida. Grammarians are not entirely sure of the difference in these two forms, whether one is in fact emphatic or whether it's simply a matter of rhythm and pronunciation. So now we can look at the hifil imperative of first nun root. So if we look at our root nagad, the imperative masculine singular, if we just form it on analogy with our strong root, we would get hanged, analogous to hafked. Of course, you notice that this nun over a silent shva does not like to be there, and so we get an assimilated nun, haged, where this is the first letter of the root, nagad. So the imperative masculine singular first nun is haged. And we can also form the emphatic form. To do this, we simply add the comet he at the end of the form, which causes our zere to revert to a hirek yod. So we get hagida. Haged, hagida. Now there's one final bit of grammar to learn in this lesson, and this is an alternative form of the second masculine singular affix. This holds true not only for the hifil, but also for the kal, for the pl, and for all of our other forms. So if we look at the kal affix, second masculine singular of our strong root, we have pakadta. Notice that we have this comet hanging off the end, which has indicated a masculine form for us. This comet represents a full syllable a, which can also be written as a comet's hey, this way. So pakadta with a hey is simply a fully written form of pakadta without the hey. So here is the indicator of the fully written form, pakadta, which is exactly the same grammatically as the form we're accustomed to seeing, pakadta. Alright, so here's our sentence for this lesson. Hagidali me'asita. Hagidali me'asita. Now a couple of vocabulary words here. Li, this is simply to me. And then me, which is an alternative form of ma, which means what. Now we can look at our verbs. So hagida, we've actually just seen this verb. If we look at the stem, we have a hey preformative with a patach, and we have a hirek yod between the last two root radicals. So this is going to be in the Hifil stem. The form, we have the performative hey with a patach, which is an indicator of the Hifil imperative. The root, we can take note of this dagesh in the gimel, and this is an assimilated nun. So our root is nun gimel dalet, nagad. Person, gender, number in the imperative. Remember, we don't have person in the imperative. It's always second person. So this is the masculine singular imperative. And the special feature is this hey on the end, which is the emphatic form. So hagida, which means tell. Now we have a second verb at the end of a sentence, asita. Asita, the stem, is given to us by, notice we have no prefixes and no performatives. And we have a comets under the first root radical. These are indicators of the kal. The form is given to us by this tav and comets, which is our affix form. This is, of course, the second masculine singular. The root asa, this yod here, is the third hey, which has reverted to a yod since it's in the middle of the form. So our root is asa, and then of course this hey on the end is simply the fully written form of the second masculine singular ending. So asita, kal affix, second masculine singular of asa, fully written. This means you did. So here's our sentence, hagidali me'asita. The most technically correct translation of this is tell me, what did you do? Me is usually an interrogative, and so to form the second part as a question, me'asita, what did you do? One could also translate this, tell me what you did, but probably better, tell me, what did you do? So that's the Hifil imperative. Good work. See you next time.